Hi everyone, Alex Nicoll from BizView. You may have heard of us, you may not have heard of us. We have got some tools that allow all those different channels to be architected inside your existing technology stack, we hope. I'll show you some of the stuff. We're dealing with all size organisations. Couple of things, a couple of notes. If you hear a high-pitched squeak, it's my knee. I had a metal pin that snapped, and I've got to get it sorted out. It doesn't particularly hurt, but it's a really annoying noise, so you'll have to, if you do hear it, you'll have to do it. The other one is what, the data here, I have no power of what may come through. And some of the organisations that I might show you some data, which we're allowed to show, they're good references and customers of ours. Some of the very worst words you can imagine sometimes pop up. Okay, so bear with me. We do have tools to stop that happening, but the particular demos I'm showing you, it can happen. We have done a couple of demos where it did happen, so a big disclaimer there. So BizView. So I did have 20 odd slides to show you, which I think we'll send out in the pack for wanton time, and I think it's just really good to show you some real life, and I know we're probably struggling a little bit on time, thanks Morris. So I'm going to show you some real life data and how it can be used. What we have is think of it as almost like a digital duvet. It's not just social, it's digital, but we can link to any, there's nothing we haven't been able to link to yet. So we have a tool that has a set of widgets. These are widgets. These widgets are very smart. These widgets have all got their own APIs. They've got their own stored procedures within them. They have their own orchestration layer and business rules. So you can set up inside these widgets to do things. So have you heard of sort of if this then that? So you can automate and you can orchestrate many different things that you want to be able to do with customer information. They hold any type of data. So they can hold tweets, Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, texts, emails, absolutely anything. And you can also hold other computer programs. They're all geocoded and geo-enabled, so you can actually start writing business rules if you're a water company or a college, university, hospital. You can start building up perimeters around specific areas of interest. We're just building up an open API layer with a bank because they want to be able to do certain things as well. So there's many things you can do with them. So these are smart, they hold graph data, everything is drilling, everything is one click. But what this actually allows you to do is allows you to take customer interactions from wherever in the ether and social networks and the rest of it and feed them into your customer contact center. You can then look at the customer and we can filter to make sure that you don't get swamped with things that you don't want to be swamped with, whether it be language, whether it be a geographical region, blah, 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 blah. We do sentiment, and we also can do emotion, so you can actually start pushing customer interactions that you should deal with more quickly, depending on your business rules. If there was Stephen Fry tweeting and he's got 20 odd million followers, you might want to put him further up the list, you might not. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, I'm saying this tool allows you to take that context and turn it on its head. What they also allow you to do is sweat the investment in the technology that you already have. You don't need to keep changing your user interfaces for some of that technology. So if you have customer contact centers, CRMs, we take data from all these different areas and we can show you one view of a customer. And then we can feed that back. So if we take all that data from those networks, we feed it to your contact center, your agents can respond to that customer interaction, and we put it back to where it came from. And that could be, whether it be TripAdvisor, FIFO, have you heard of some of these things? Super. So we're taking all that information out. One of our, actually in fact our first client 2 weeks ago won Customer Service of the Year. And they said it was duly down to, and not solely down to, it was obviously there are people that were doing it, but it was down to our software, which it was a great achievement, so we're very pleased with them. their name's Red Funnel, and it's because, not just because software, they're thinking of things differently, they're using things differently. So an example would be, if you book and use their service now, they don't just listen to customers complaining, they listen to Southwest trains. They listen for delays and accidents on the M3. Any of those things happen, they now send off tweets or emails or text messages and things like that to their customers saying, beware, there's delays, there's disruptions, leave a little bit earlier, or we'll automatically book you onto the next service. And it's things like that, because the other problems they have with their customers are very difficult to deal with, because people moaning about a large ship looking a bit worse for wear, it takes time and money to solve, so they very much concentrate on their customer service. So we do try and work out where possible with customers what the problem is. And likewise, we've just engaged with a hospital. I don't know, do you have anybody from health come in? Anybody from any hospitals or anything? Anyway, one of the things we're doing for them, they've had instances where they've had people not complaining on social media, but stating facts about, they were in high dependency unit, they were very unwell, trying to have a happy face because they didn't have pillows. So we're taking all these sorts of things now from Facebook and we're feeding them directly to their porters. They said, we should be able to do these things quite easily. So it's things like that we're concentrating on now and actually making a difference. So you can build apps with lots of widgets in, doing lots of different views of the same data. So you could have an app for customer care, you could have an app for PR, customer sales, all the different things you want to be able to do it. You can take data and you can build it into these widgets and you can add different orchestration and business rules to it. So that's a high level view, okay? So let me show you some, is that clear? Is everyone comfortable with how it works? Now obviously we have our own UI, but obviously we're trying to feed it to investments in systems you've already had. So it's very much more of a broker. So let me just go to, so this is cross-country rail. Now we're actually working with all sizes of organisations. Some of the things that I'll show you here, just because there's more data going through and there are references, and it's easier for people to make correlation between things that they've typically experienced themselves, like travel and communications. So we've got quite a few demos on this. So, for example, this is cross-country rail. Now, this particular widget here has got all their tweets coming in and their mentions that are to do with them. And you can put as many of these contextual searches in as you want. It also shows you their response. Now, what we can show there is the customer that they responded to and all the other interactions, not just on Twitter, but on Facebook. So you're starting to paint up a picture, and I'm not going to read what some of these say, see a few of you starting to smile. But what they can also do, we timestamp and datastamp every single interaction. So they could actually start feeding and watching, and I'm not going to show you some of their competitors, but they can do that. They can start understanding what other people are doing, how quickly they're responding. So they've got a real-time benchmark that they can respond to. Some of the other stuff we're doing is fed into their contact center, is that we're looking at because we are the hub and pass through for all these customer interactions, we're doing gamification is far too strong. It's a little bit American for some of the customer contact centers we're doing, but we do rewardification. So a lot of the agents, we can actually reward them and give them points based upon how they're performing or how we want them to perform. And it's all definable, it's configurable by yourself, your team leaders to be able to do something, so you can award them points and pay them directly through SAP or Oracle or whatever system you're using. But what you'll see on here is lots of different feeds coming through. So TripAdvisor, obviously we have got just an agent response graph, we have social sentiment. You'll start seeing some of the things down here. These are responses that have answered, these are different response emotions here, and obviously we can start linking that both manually but also automatically. So if you've contacted them 3 or 4 times and every time before, we can start building up proper orchestration which is around automated coordination of some of that. So you could have the angry customer that Maurice was talking about. We can actually provide that. So when you send it through to the via contact centre, you can actually understand the context that you're in. Obviously, with context, we could also, to a certain degree, understand things like sarcasm. Thanks a bloody lot. Because we can understand the full line of that, we can actually then start providing you with more information how you should deal with that. Likewise, we can also block. We have a profanity database, so you can actually stop different advisors getting things that they may not like. And we do, because we work for Transport for London and things like that, they like to stop a lot of quite strong tweets going to some of their agents. But also some of the things we're working with the British Transport Police, because we take and we have a widget called Punch and things like that. If somebody's been aggressive, it will take all that information out and actually it's passed directly to the British Transport Police, and it's using the court of law because we take it out of Twitter before they can delete it. So there's all sorts of things you can do depending on what you're trying to achieve. And likewise, we linked for the atomic weapons establishment, we linked this because of these all have their own things. We linked it with Nuke Watch, which is a website, and we linked it with their security cameras. So you can do some quite smart things. All this works with sensors and things like that, if that's what you're interested in. Now, let me show you. So obviously, just quickly, if I click one of these, just to say they're all drilling. Now, I don't know how big the widget is, how much data it's got in it. So it might take some time to build 13,000 data items. It shouldn't be too long. I will come back to that while it's building that. I'm going to kill your data. I hope you're not paid by usage, because that's why I didn't want to do it through Wi-Fi.
That's all right. We'll let you off.
So likewise, we can go into these different widgets, and we can go into these, and we can build up a library. Everything here is configurable. Everything here has got different business rules. You can look at the different categories. If friends and competitors isn't appropriate, then you can change it. So they're all color coded and all this sort of stuff. So it's actually very quick to set up, and I'll show you about. I don't know if anybody's got a Twitter handle or a Facebook website, but we could probably set something up in a minute just to show you how quick and actually easy it is to do. Let me just go back and see if that's working. Okay, another one of our clients, just while I'm on it, for example, this is quite a good, this is for National Rail Inquiries, and they're a recent client. So each one of these widgets, like I said, it's all geo-enabled. So we build maps around customer interactions, so we can start looking at all the different customer interactions. They're using it for these three geographical regions, where the tweet was sent from, about what they were tweeting about, and where the user's from. Obviously, we can only take the data that the user allows us to take. That's not strictly true with some social networks. We can get more data, and with others we can get a lot less. But the constraint is not on us; it's on the social networks and what they're allowed to provide. So obviously, we're approved partners with people like Facebook, Twitter, and all the rest of it. So you can have if you wanted to have a mapped-based front end to respond from or do analytics or draw parameters, you can do that. Everyone looks so serious. Are we here? Are we here for the Greek? Are we trying to solve the Greek finance problem?
I'm surprised that the National Rail don't have more tweets that are with more angry faces on it than that. But
they'll all be filtered out.
They'll be filtered out, isn't it?
Like a signal on the train.
Yeah.
They do. National Rail Inquiries actually is very well thought of. National Rail Inquiries is actually, it's about contact.
Put Southern Rail up there and I think you can get a different reaction.
You will. But on these, I'm going to move on from that. I'm not going to get drawn into too much of this. Obviously, we can build up immediate responses to the data that's within that widget, and we can start looking at different. I think my eyesight's dreadful. So there's a number of tweets per day. So you can build up lots of different KPIs based upon that data that you want to build up. You can also you can choose the time and days that you want to look at the graph on. It'll be down to minutes and seconds. You can email that information over in that graph, set up each day by contact groups or by thresholds. So I got 10 interactions. I want to be every time I get to 10 interactions, I want them to be sent off to an advisor, or one. You can do one for one. It's completely definable by yourselves. Now, also we can send a chart. We can send the information only. I think the hospital that we're working at, they also wanted to open this up. We're looking at MRSA and C. diff, and because everything on here is also completely nominalised and all the rest of it, they want to open, that's it, for they want to look at for health protection agencies, so they can open up some of the data to different parties. So you can add all those user groups. Now, obviously, again, we have things like trending, so you can start looking at trends, and these can be sent depending on what you're starting to look at. So, let's see. So, delayed is some of the noticeable things that are coming up, and that people are talking about rail. Obviously, we actually did a really smart one for the World Cup with Pele's head and stuff, but I won't go into that. So you can define what sort of word clouds and trending reports that you get. Now, likewise, you can download the information into some raw formats, so you can do some quite smart things with that. So if I highlight a tweet here, make sure I don't, you have options on what you can do to it. So you can reply directly from here, you can add notes to the customer, because it's obviously got a CRM customer database within it. You can show on a map, you can move the tweets, assign sentiment, you can add lists. The lists are really smart. So you could build up a list, and then any other tweet that came in with that same criteria would get taken into there, which is why we're quite good at doing things like campaigns. So if somebody was mentioning something, it could be anything, you can add it to a list, and then you have a list to act upon. And that is the same, we're looking at obviously Twitter and Facebook data, but that could be the same for emails. We understand the content within inside the message. Is that clear? Cool. So, I mean, I haven't even gone into these. How am I doing for time?
We have, just under 15 minutes.
15 minutes, brilliant, I can carry on. So, some things that we also allow and we forward you to do is to push to multiple networks. So your agent, if it was something that you wanted to update because it was a major incident and you're reporting or whatever, a crypto outbreak, you would be allowed, as soon as that came into the via contact center, if you wanted to start choosing, we could set up the contacts, we could set up BizView so the contact center could actually broadcast that one message to all the channels. So you could say, thanks a lot for telling us, blah, blah, whatever the message was. That could go back to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever messages you want, different messages to go to. So you can start picking and choosing what you wanted to do. Likewise, you can add tiny URLs, videos, and all the rest of it, and post it. You can choose whether you want to post it now, later, and that's the same for all the textual stuff that we're sending. You can choose how you want to do that. Obviously, you can add as many, which a lot of organisations do have. You can have as many different Twitter handles, Facebook handles, email address IDs that you want to send from. You can add as many as you wanted. I say that, we've gone to about 400, nobody's asked for any more than that. How they manage 400 different connections is quite remarkable. These guys have got quite a lot. You can delete posts in Twitter and Facebook and all the rest of it from here. So actually nobody in your organisation, once you've linked this with all those different networks, they don't need to go into those anymore. So a lot of the people that we've spoken to, they don't need to have people trawling through TripAdvisor, FIFA and all the rest of it. It's set up in this digital blanket, if you like, that allows you to go and manage those integrations, relationships, and all the rest of it. Okay, so if I go into, I don't know if they're using Task, let me just come back. Okay, well there they are, it did load eventually. So again, in here, you can see a different view, and likewise this is the agent view. You can also use for things like emails. We've got a number of different front ends UIs that you can choose from that different organisations like. Typically this is the more generic one that people are using. And again, you can go into each one of these and have different options of what you're wanting to do. Task management, if I want to set up tasks, and this is also the control panel for what you want, what advisors to do, agents to do, and customer contact advisors to do inside your. So this would be a team leader view. They would go in and say, I want these interactions to go through to this agent inside the Avaya contact center or whatever contact center you're working on, or you can work from it obviously straight through here. We have a complete SLA dashboard that you can put limits and parameters on, and again you can start seeing some of the points that are awarded to different agents here, and you can assign them rewards, look at how well they're performing. You can actually escalate. So if there was a customer interaction that came in and the customer promise was 4 hours and it was 3 hours 55 minutes, it could alert somebody else to say, look, you need to reassign this to somebody else, or you need to go and speak with the agent. Whatever you want to do, you can do that from here. Is there any questions? I'm obviously rattling through talking a lot.
Did have a couple this time. You said about receiving tweets earlier from maybe relate. So I work in car insurance, so it would be useful for us if we could automatically retweet, say, posts from the Met Office about weather warnings in certain areas or something. Is there an ability to automatically retweet from another?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And we've had clients that do that. Just as a personal advice on that, just be very careful on doing that.
Yeah.
Obviously, from what Marcus would kill me for saying to do that, because obviously. And that's what I mean, depending on what the reason is for engagement and interactions. For that sort of thing, it's absolutely perfect. So we've got a whole application stack. So we monitor every traffic incident accident across the UK. It started doing it actually just for Transport for London, so they could people go out there and put those annoying arrows in the road sign, delay, rerouted this way and all the rest, diversions as well. Yeah. So we do it all for them, so you could do that, and they're automated already.
Okay.
So we take all train, road, plane, all the rest of all those incidents you could update your clients with,
Okay.
On an automated or a personal basis. Or you could do different messages depending on what they're saying in their tweet.
Right, okay.
It's up to you.
And you said about Facebook and Twitter. Is there? Can you have like an integrated feed with all the interactions that we're getting
Yes.
on those? Okay. And is there like an alerts system as well?
Yes,
that will go
there
out to
is.
certain people?
Yeah, there is. There's also SMS. Did I say we do this? So we do SMS, and that can be fed to your mobile handheld. People can respond to that SMS message, and it obviously comes from your your DDI number. It doesn't come from their mobile number. So people can respond to tweets and texts and emails from the business handles that they're using.
Last question.
Go on.
Have you had any kind of interaction with or any use of WhatsApp?
Yes. So we've already connected with WhatsApp. Actually, it's taken up quite, and Snapchat, and people are using it quite a lot. Now we also do Skype. Skype have just changed their platform, which causes a few issues. But obviously they don't care about us. But we can do Skype. The majority of people are still using the old app. We have got something in beta with Skype, and we're just waiting for them. They're a little bit slower and less agile than some of the smaller sort of startups. But yes, we can do that. Everything's integrated with those organisations already.
Okay. Interesting you mentioned WhatsApp actually, because while you won't find it in any Avaya documentation, we were playing around with it on customers' request about a month ago. To pull that into multimedia contact centre, so we just treat it the same way it would be if there's a web chat on.
Okay, yeah, it's just something you don't see very often. What companies using WhatsApp, and I think it would be something very kind of innovative.
Yeah, no, we use it, and we're actually doing quite a lot of work. Avaya probably aren't aware of some of the work we're doing with them overseas as well. We've got some very big global telcos that we're underpinning all their social interactions. So across Africa, we're doing it for Vodafone. We're doing it for some of the banks across Africa as well, which was an amusing kick-off. I've got to say, not slightly. They don't worry about security quite as much as some of the banks we deal with in the UK. However, it's very interesting because actually, with social and mobile in mind, if you take Nigeria for example, 69% or 70% of all Nigerians are under 24. So it's not just mobile first; it's mobile only. So we've built tools now so to engage with all that with Snapchat and all those things in mind. So they're rolled out, they use them already, and it's a good tools there. It affords a lot more functionality, and obviously because of things like Africa, we've had to build these things because obviously they don't have fixed line and all this because jungles grow and knock all the lines down and stuff like that, from what they told us. So mobile is a heavy thing that we've had to build all these links into the different applications for them.
Just one question. With our business, we support multiple clients because we're an outsourced contact centre.
Yep.
So whereas this is like just for cross country, is it possible to have multiple clients in the background with a single dashboard for us? So when tweets come through, we've got that single dashboard in terms of which customers had those tweets through. We can go straight onto that, obviously, because the agent doesn't want to have to constantly flick through multiple.
So national rail inquiries is exactly that. So if you, I can't remember what I went on. So if I go, for example, these are all the people that national rail inquiries are responding on behalf of. Some of those, they're all. Like Caledonian Sleeper is nothing to do with national rail inquiries. Whole trains has nothing to do with them, so you can do that.
So they have a single dashboard.
They have a single dashboard. They have a single feed, and they'll be able to broadcast across multiple things or single. It obviously allows you to be careful. Then we work up with your agents, making sure that they don't post the wrong message to them. But obviously, if we have that, we can build up that wall so that doesn't happen. We also quarantine stuff. So if you wanted to quarantine an interaction that was sent from the Avaya contact centre, we can quarantine that, pass a message to a more senior member of staff or a team leader before it's sent out, which is quite handy for things like training, when you onboard new staff and all the rest of it. It works very well. But likewise, you could have some of those immediate interactions, that automated ones, say, okay, do you know what, it's a good time to just pull all the information together, but we want to send it out at 8:10 in the morning because history tells us and blah, blah, blah. We've also linked this with another, a really smart tool called Hypercube, which is a non-statistical and data crunching tool in the cloud. So what that tells insurance companies, we worked out with a couple of insurance companies, that insurance companies know that 70-year-old males are more likely to have a crash on a Friday night at 8 o'clock, or whatever the circumstance is. But what we've allowed work up with them is they can also tell you they were wearing blue shoes. Now that's got nothing to do with the crash, but if you wanted to start partitioning data in that way and say, well, do you know what, people wearing blue shoes, for whatever reason, seem to be safer drivers, we could offer people wearing blue shoes a cheaper discount than anybody else to win a market. So it's things like that are actually quite smart, that some of the stuff we're doing. This is actually a very complex data tool first. We're doing a lot of work for rail and utilities, and then we built a load of functions on top around social CRM, digital, and all those integrations. So yes, you can do exactly what you said. How am I going? 2 minutes. Two minutes. What do I show in 2 minutes? We should. This is an interesting, smaller company, but they do all the services for Starbucks. So Legionella assessments, all stuff like that. So this is actually set up with their. This is set up with a large mobile staff that go out there doing stuff, and we orchestrate stuff directly from their other systems. We take certain links out of their other systems when they're doing, and we mash it up with Twitter. So when somebody's had a poor experience inside a Starbucks retail unit, we fire off a service request for these guys to go in and do what they do, take the dead pigeon out of the water tank and rechlorinate and all that sort of stuff. So there's some very smart ways of using this tool. It's just mapping it to your business.
Could I just ask how you've affiliated to ZetaSafe? We use ZetaSafe for just that.
We are, yes.
But it's sort of firewalls, so we can only see our inventory. Clearly you're seeing the Starbucks one there. Or
yes.
They are, and you're just demming it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're new to it, it's only just going live at the moment. And
how interesting. Small world, you see.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they're doing some they're doing a lot of smart work with us actually.
It's very clever.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
Oh, cool.
Their product's clever as well, isn't it?
Super. I shall feed that back.
Yeah.
I don't know, who you dealing with that? Andrew Dobbins or some people like that?
I've not dealt with it directly. I've built the iPads that they're using.
Okay.
Sort of got involved in it through the back door, really. But I can see inventory uses for it. You know, such water quality, it leads it to fire doors, and then they're going to put everything on it.
Yeah. No, it's a good system. You've made me think of something slightly different. Just a quick tell in the last minute, sorry. So for people like Cosmopolitan Magazine, this is all linked into their mobile apps as well. So we can take data, like I said, from multiple sources. So they've added a new button on the mobile platform that we support because the data suggested they could improve their mobile commerce. So now we added a button called Mine on Payday, because we could actually see there's a lot of people not converting. They were going all the way to purchasing, and they didn't. So we've added this new button that says Mine on Payday, and now they've got the highest return rate of any mobile commerce platform in the UK. I think it was in Europe, but that was about 6 months ago. So I'm sure Google have done something different to bolster others. But you know, it is understanding what you're trying to achieve with that data and all those integrations and interactions. A bit rushed and probably flitted around a little bit, but obviously we can build up any sort of demos that people want to see, and they can see all those interactions. I haven't got time to show people the single view of all the customer commerce stuff, but happy to hang around and have those discussions or create other demos. Any other questions? Super.
Thanks, Alex. So